Okay, folks, we're going to continue a little bit in the Miles Morales chain. I've been reading more Miles Morales stories, and I think I reached a stopping point where I can kind of give an update on where his character has gone since I left you with the last video on who is Miles Morales. Now, I actually started getting a little bit interested in the stories that were going on because what happened was there was a reporter, Betty Brant, who you might remember from the old time Spider Man days when she was not a reporter, but she was J. Jonah Jameson's secretary. But in the Ultimate Universe, she was a reporter who was not particularly scrupulous about the stories she published. Well, she got some information on Spider Man's identity that she was planning on publishing, and she was stopped by a symbiote type creature, and that symbiote or venom type creature later attacked Miles, hoping to get something out of Miles that would stabilize its genetic code, something to that effect. Miles Morales' mother was killed in the resulting brouhaha, not by the creature though, but by police bullets when they were trying to shoot the creature and inadvertently shot her instead. So Miles Morales' mother died at the hands of police. And then his father was okay, but a little bit worse for wear. And then we had that series, and then we had a 1 year pause in Miles Morales' career because he got fed up with being Spider-Man and the danger that it would bring on his loved ones, and so we had his version of a Spider-Man No More series. And during that 1 year period, he no longer was Spider Man, and he even acquired a girlfriend for himself, who was that universe's Kate Bishop, Kate Bishop being Hawkeye in the Marvel 616 universe, but in Marvel 1610, nobody to speak of other than being Miles Morales' girlfriend. However, we didn't really learn anything about him through her other than that she was his girlfriend. So okay, at least he's got a heterosexual bone in his body. And other than that, he had the same friend, Genki Lee, who would help him with his create his web fluid. And his father was in his life, and he goes to school, and we don't know anything else about him. I mean, he's just basically a character. He's a blank slate. He's there to be Spider-Man, but now he's not even Spider-Man anymore. And so that continues for a while until, of course, he's called back into play by Spider-Woman, the Jessica Drew of the Ultimate Universe, also a clone of Peter Parker who just happens to be female, and lesbian, we will later learn. So we get him pulled back into the Spider-Man game, and then it's time for the Cataclysm, which was the time that Galactus entered the Ultimate Universe and tried to consume the Ultimate Earth of Universe 1610. So Galactus was eventually thwarted, but by the end of that period, Spider-Man's identity was revealed to his father, who freaked out about it. Was not happy about the fact that his son was Spider-Man, especially in lieu of Spider-Man's involvement in the death of his wife. And so all of a sudden his father just basically takes off because he just can't deal with it. And so Miles is pretty much at school and on his own when we come back into things. And we have a series called The All New Ultimates that spins out of Cataclysm because the Ultimates is like completely wiped out by that point. And that series was just a freaking travesty. It had like Cloak and Dagger and Spider-Woman, who renamed herself the Black Widow, and Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and you had a character called Bombshell, who I think was also a Brian Michael Bendis created character for Spider-Man. That series was just horrific, and so that lasted about 12 issues, and now you've got Miles Morales in his own title. Starting with Ultimate Spider-Man 200, where they had kind of a funeral or celebration of life for Peter Parker, who had died, the year before, and that moved into the present series, or not present meaning present now, but that moved into the series at the time of Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man. And what happens is Peter Parker comes back. And now you've got Miles Morales, And you've got Peter Parker, and you don't know if Peter Parker's a clone, which is like the first thought that Miles Morales is having, or if it's the real one. And apparently it turns out to be the real one. And after they both fight with the Green Goblin, who is also miraculously alive, turns out Peter's just basically alive as a function of the accident that made him Spider-Man in the first place. Apparently these genetically engineered spiders transfer not just spider powers to you, but some form of regenerative ability that makes you functionally immortal or something, or at least can bring you back from catastrophic death incidents for a time at least, because that's what also happened with the Green Goblin, and he eventually croaks a second time, and hopefully it's permanent this time. So you've got, if you look at the thumbnail to this video, what you're seeing is Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man, the one who died to give Miles his sense of responsibility, giving Miles his blessing as Spider-Man, and basically saying, you can do the job. Here are the web shooters. You go ahead and do the job. I've got to go find out the mystery of my revival and make sure that, there's nothing sneaking up on me from behind the scenes. So he and Mary Jane go off into the sunset, and now Miles has the job of being Spider-Man officially, with the blessing of the original Spider-Man. And when I got to that point, I was like, God, this is just about insane. Because that issue had to come out in around 2014, 2015. And Miles Morales as a character was created in 2011. We have spent 3 years with this character who has experienced almost no character development other than to accept being Spider-Man, and who has no character to speak of other than being Spider-Man. And for 3 years, we've been taken through him receiving blessing after blessing after blessing, and now finally a blessing from the original Spider-Man himself. I mean, decompressed storytelling is something that I know Brian Michael Bendis invented, in a way, when he started this whole Ultimate Spider-Man stuff, in that it took him 5 issues to kill Uncle Ben, which was just inexcusable at the time. I mean, Stan Lee was able to do an entire origin of Spider-Man in roughly 15 pages, and Brian Michael Bendis had to do roughly the same thing in 7 issues. It was just ridiculous. And now, with all of the blessing after blessing after blessing after blessing, and like, okay, you are really and officially Spider-Man, took 3 years. He didn't just invent decompressed storytelling, he perfected it through this Miles Morales character. And at the end of this process, we don't know anything more about Miles Morales than we did when we started. So I'm hoping, again, that when we get started again from where I'm reading now, because at this point, this is the point where Secret Wars is going to take place. And Secret Wars is where, the Ultimate Universe and the regular Marvel Universe get merged into one universe. Really not so much in that it's the Marvel Universe, the regular one, that takes dominance over everything. And the only thing that really survives from the Ultimate Universe is Ultimate Miles, Miles Morales, and the Reed Richards of the Ultimate Universe, who is not a good guy. And other than that, pretty much everything is just plain Marvel Universe stuff. So we're going to be entering into the phase of time in which Miles and Peter Parker occupy the same universe. And it's the adult Peter Parker, not the Peter Parker of the Ultimate Universe. So Miles and Peter are now both part of the mainstream Marvel Universe, and at some point I'm right about to start that era of Miles Morales' life, and we'll see if there's anything different about it. We'll see if we're going to start seeing Miles develop as a character, having a background, having a more expansive supporting cast. Because my God, I mean, the only people who he still has in his life are his father and his friend Ganke, and that's it. And then everybody else from the Ultimate Universe is gone on account of Secret Wars. And his girlfriend, she was already gone on account of her actually having been part of the Hydra organization that he didn't realize about. She apparently was born into it. And I don't know. That was a mess too. So you've got Miles Morales now in the regular Marvel universe, and he's pretty much a cipher. You can pretty much do with him whatever you want, and I will be impressed if anybody manages to do something halfway decent with him, because right now he's still very much largely an empty shell waiting to have a personality poured into him. He's not an interesting character. He's just there to be Spider-Man. And now that there actually is a Peter Parker Spider-Man in the world, the importance of developing Miles into his own character is now paramount. Because why the hell should I read Miles Morales when I've got Peter Parker there? And I've got all of the stuff and baggage associated with Peter Parker in him. Why would I want to read Miles Morales? And that's what I'm hoping that the post-Secret Wars issues take me into. Who is this kid? Really? Because I've read about 3 years of his lifespan now, 3 to 4 years, and I still don't know. So, we'll see how it goes. I'm Mike Partika. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe so that when I do my next Miles Morales update, you will be updated on that, and you'll also catch some of my other videos, like the one I just recently did on how not to do 2-page spreads. If you are ever interested in doing comics yourself and you want some tips and tricks on how to avoid some errors that even the pros make, please do watch some of my videos. You will get some of that education there. Thanks again for watching, and I will talk to you later.